Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to talk about a mod that I've already covered in the past a long time ago, but it's been redone and republished and it is so much better. At this point it's basically version 2.0 and I figured that we should talk about it because it really makes LAKOR's campaign fun. Don't get me wrong, I like LAKOR, I think he's the best undivided choice, but he needed a little bit more just to make him a lot more unique. Yes, he does have some extra mechanics, but this is a little bit of an extra flavor, a little bit more salt to your meal just to make it a little bit cooler. So with that being said, let's get started because there's a lot to talk about. So you might remember that this mod originally added in the cultists from Mordheim, the Brethren. Now, it's still the same, but a little bit different. So you'll recruit them in the new Warriors of Chaos format, and only LAKOR will have access to this as far as I've seen, which is kind of cool because it makes them a bit more unique. And you'll also have access to a new upgrade tab for your actual cultists. So this means that they'll benefit from unit upgrades. You'll see everything there. You'll start off with Brethren Spearmen, then you can either turn them into archers or you can get them some shields, turn them into zealots, and then just upgrade them to Dark Souls if you so wish. You've also got the really cool Mordheim logo there, which is just absolutely nostalgic for me. It's bringing back a lot of really cool memories. From the very beginning of your campaign, you will also have access to Magister heroes as soon as you take over your first Dark Fortress. So yeah, you can get this at turn 1, and yeah, it means that you'll have to get Dark Fortresses to be able to recruit more, at least as far as I've seen. But there's a lot littered around the north, and it'll give you more reason to expand to the north. However, there's a few different ways to play this mod, so we'll just carry on, and I'll explain a little bit later. Anyways, the Magisters themselves are pretty cool. They're a hero, they're a spellcaster, and they've got access to the Law of Dark Magic. This means that you get access to a different Law of Magic that you generally won't have access to, but it's pretty cool. Because now you can play around, it gives you some more to play with. You've also got a bunch of administration skills too, so if you want to keep them in armies where you're kind of developing areas, and this might be needed with the second mod that I'll suggest in this video too, then yeah, that works out quite well. I really like them, and I think they look cool. You'll see a close-up of them when we get a little bit later on into the video. Not only that, but you'll have access to a new legendary lord that will be available to you at the start of your campaign. And if you've played the Mordheim video game, this should take you back. This is Murga. This is the leader or the Brethren here doing LAKOR's wishes. And she's got a pretty good trait. See, control +5 local province. Control -5 local enemy province. Chaos Undivided Corruption +2 for local province, and finally upkeep -35% for all Cult of the Possessed units for Lord's Army. This means that you can be able to field a lot of your Brethren units and have a really cheap second army quite early into your campaign, which is going to be needed for this type of campaign, I think. Murga herself currently does not have a unique skill line. I'm not sure if that's planned or not, but she does have access to the Law of Tzeentch, and she has access to a decent skill line, you know, all in all. It's focusing around the Chaos Warrior one, but she does get Tribes of Chaos, which means that you can get your growth going faster. And yeah, I mean, stat-wise, she's okay. She's a spellcaster, she's going to be squishy, but having access to Law of Tzeentch at the very beginning is going to be quite beneficial for you with the campaign format that I'm going to suggest in just a moment. Now, you might see that I've been empire building, and that's because I've been using a second mod called Warriors of Chaos Outpost Expansion, and I've been playing really themed roleplay here. So what this mod does is just like the Wood Elf one, right? It gives you up to tier 3 for anything that you take that isn't a Dark Fortress, and it allows you to build up some extra buildings. The buildings have been turned to tier 3. You can get a better garrison, you can get better units, you can also have more slots, meaning that if you take an area which also has resource buildings or a landmark, you can take advantage of this. You can get the bonuses for your faction-wide, and you can make your faction even stronger here, because what I'm going to suggest is an empire building campaign, and we'll talk about that a little bit later once we do the battle showcase, as there's still a few things that we need to talk about still. But yeah, this has been a fun campaign overall for me, believe me. Murga's character looks just like her Mordheim character, and it's great because, you know, like, again, it makes me want to play Mordheim. I think that's really cool because it was such a good game. It's a shame that it got abandoned by the developers, but it's still in a very good place to be able to play. It's very punishing, though. So it's just nice to kind of have those nostalgia goggles every now and then, especially since, you know, good Warhammer games are hard to come by, and you're going to see that a lot when it comes to this mod, especially as you start looking at the Magisters, which just look freaking awesome. I'm not too sure why you can't use spells in custom battle. I mean, you still get access to encourage and stuff, which is pretty cool. It's more of a support hero in custom battle, but, you know, in the campaign you get access to certain spells, which just makes them better. Brethren Spearmen will be your absolute basic unit. They're expendable, so yeah, don't expect them to last a lot. They've got very poor leadership, very basic stats, but this is your starter unit, right? You're still going to be able to make use of Warriors of Chaos and Demons of Chaos, but now you've got your cultists, very cheap cultists at that, so you can field second armies really, really quickly to keep at a defense here. Or if you want a second army following you, or if you want just Murder to be able to have a basic army, yeah, this works out well. Plus, these units do get better. You can upgrade them themselves to a archer variant, so you've got two there. It's the basic archer, and then you've got the other archer with flaming arrows. It's just more or less the same stats. The only thing is the flaming arrow variant is better, because flaming attacks and just a little bit more weapon strength, missile strength. But yeah, it's still a Brethren, you know, it's still expendable. Your whole army is essentially expendable for the most cases, but they get better as time progresses, obviously. And it's just cool. Honestly, it's just freaking cool. The last of the Brethren themselves are the Brethren with shields. So you've got two variants here. You get the sword variant and you get the spear variant. So again, you get some anti-large and you also get a little bit of frontline unit. Again, not the best unit, but this is how you progress and this is how you make them stronger. You can also boost them up with skills and stuff, so don't you worry. But this is not the end game for you. These are just the very basic units, and you're going to make them a lot stronger as you start upgrading them even further. This is because once you get access to Zealots, then you're going to do a lot better. You get two variants there, one with great swords and the other one with halberds. The thing is that these have better stats all around. They've got armor too, they're armor piercing. One will be anti-large, the other one will be anti-infantry. This is where you start feeling yourself getting stronger. They're not quite Chaos Warriors, but they're getting very, very close to it. And they look cool. Again, it's just taking the aesthetic of the Mordheim ones where you just start putting heavy armor on stuff and make them as strong as possible. I like them on the tabletop too. I used to love playing the Chaos Warband. Mostly played Skaven, but that's because the Skaven were just kind of broken. But the last unit itself, as you can already see, are the Dark Souls, and these are Great Axe Infantry, they're armor piercing, they can rampage, but they're also unbreakable, and they can do a decent amount of damage. They look freaking cool too, and the idea is, this is the last area, so you can kind of mix with some archers, some zealots, and then some Dark Souls, and you can get a pretty tasty army. You've got access to no horses, you've got access to nothing of that, but this is where you start supplementing anything else with adding in some actual Chaos Warriors. I think this works out really, really well as you get a little mix, and it's pretty fun. So by using these two mods together, I've been able to have a really fun roleplay campaign with LAKOR. You see, LAKOR doesn't want to destroy the world for the Chaos Gods. In fact, he wants to rebel. You already know this if you played through the Realm of Chaos campaign, but the idea is he wants to become a god in his own right. He was a self-styled god king before he was punished by the Chaos Gods for his hubris. So this is what I've been able to do. Now that I have a bunch of mortals, and I'm also able to expand my empire through Outpost, which can have a decent garrison whilst expanded upon, and obviously get a lot of bonuses to my faction, I've been able to take on the world. I still get my vassals, but I'm mostly letting my Norskins be my vassals, you know, the usual ones. Whereas the rest, because, you know, if you take over, like, say, for example, an Empire faction, or a Dark Elf faction and stuff, they don't deal with the corruption very well. It's a weird thing. Really, if they become your vassal, they should become immune to it. That way they just don't get destroyed by rebels, which happens fairly often. This allows me to just go into the Empire, take over the Empire in the name of LAKOR, with his cultists leading the charge, and yeah, having a bit of a roleplay campaign, and I've really, really enjoyed this. Both the mods together work extremely well. Having the cultists here just is really nice. It's a shame that we didn't really get a bunch of unique stuff when it came to LAKOR. We did get some really cool mechanics, but like this kind of adds a little bit extra to him to give a bit more of a roleplay feel if you want to do the whole I want to rebel against the Dark Gods. Maybe you don't want to use demons. You can, because he does enslave them, but maybe you don't want to use demons. Maybe you just want to do mortals and mortals only, just to have that feel of, yeah, LAKOR is trying to rebel, he's trying to build up armies, he's trying to rival the gods, and what better way than making a base in the actual Warhammer world. So should the Chaos Gods then decide that LAKOR is becoming too much of a threat, then he already has an army of untold numbers ready. You're taking over settlements, you're converting them to cultists essentially, and you're getting worshippers, you're becoming a god. Sure, you're not getting like god mechanics and stuff, but the idea is roleplay over anything else, and I think that works out really, really well. I've had a lot of fun ever since this mod got its version 2, which was actually fairly recent. I felt like now is the time to actually play a LAKOR campaign and just kind of have fun with it, which is always great. This is what I like about these types of mods. It's the roleplay reason that many of us look for, especially if we're Warhammer Fantasy lore fans or tabletop fans. You know, a lot of the times you'll start up a game and you'll be like, ooh, what can I do here? How could this be done in a lore-friendly way, but also in a very fun way? And yeah, I think that I get this really from this mod. So with that being said, the mods themselves, both of them can be found in the description below, and you should check it out because you're going to be able to have quite a little bit of fun, and yeah, it's going to be a while until we get some new DLC content, so experiment with mods. That's the best thing that you can do. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll start a bit of a discussion. Let the rest of the battle play out. It's very weird here because, I don't know, randomized Norscan armies are always just so tiny. But yeah, again, have a good day, and I shall see you all again very, very soon.
First damned! Command us! Fall back! Now is our time! Chaos Marauders! Chaos Sorcerer!